Good evening, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Before we go to the adoption of the agenda, I think there is a small addition. If you will allow, it's under correspondence. I would like to have item 9.4, Everett Titus, the Bellevaux Cove Development Commission. If you are all in agreement with that, we need a motion to adopt the agenda, moved by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Hill. All those in favor, against? Motion is carried. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Are there any items on the agenda that puts you in conflict? If not, we're off to item 4. The presentations, there are none. 5, adoption of meetings. March 19th, regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Hill, seconded by Conseiller Camo. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. 5.2, April 2nd, 2025, the committee, council and committee meeting. If you had a chance to look at that. If there are no errors, moved by Conseiller Evans and Councillor DeVoe. All those in favor, against? Motion is carried. Item 6, business arising from previous council meetings. There is nothing there. Item 7, the warden's activity report from me. On March the 5th, I met with Senator Lejean Aucoin, with the members of council. He was in the area. He came to visit and he talked about what is happening in the area and in Ottawa. We had a good discussion. On March 28th, I attended the 25th anniversary of the CDNA. They were making small presentations during the night. There were presentations. There was Conseiller Leanne and Councillor DeVoe. And on April 9th, I met the members of the council and the financial director to look at the proposed items for our budget. It was a detailed meeting. On April the 15th, I attended to a public meeting with the members of the Havelock firefighters and the representatives from the community center there. Councillor and Mr. Sear were there to discuss the possibility of a new building to house both of them, the fire hall for Havelock that would become the community center. We started the conversations there to see if the people were interested in amalgamating. That is my report. Any questions or comments? No. If not, we will go on to item 8, the official presentations from members of council. Does anybody have any official presentation? No. We will go on to 9, correspondence. 9.1, Honorable Becky Duran, Justice Minister and Attorney General.
Thank you for your correspondence dated February 5th, 2025, regarding the Municipality of the District of Clare's request to augment the policing resources of the H Division Royal Canadian Mounted Police's RCMP Meteghan Detachment by 2 officers, along with the confirmation of the municipality's financial commitment effective April 1st, 2025. I am pleased to inform you that the request to increase the policing resources at the RCMP's Meteghan Detachment by 2 officers has been approved. The decision aligns with the findings of the resourcing review conducted by the RCMP, and it will ensure the provision of an adequate level of policing within the municipality of Clare. I trust that the RCMP will endeavor to fill these positions promptly following the effective date of April 1st, 2025. Additionally, a request will be submitted to Public Safety Canada from my office to correspondingly increase the strength of the provincial police force. Sincerely, Becky Drouin, Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Just to remind the council, both positions in questions, one is for a general duty member, as we have now. The second is for a special position, GIS, their role for that individual would be to open and close investigations more quickly. That person will be a resource dedicated to investigations in the goal of opening them as needed and to close them quickly. And speaking with this Corporal LeBlanc, we know it is a challenge with the numbers of the officers that are there now. So this will it will allow the detachment to work more effectively when it comes to investigations. So it is something that was asked from us by the public, and it's good to see that with the conclusion of the GRC last year, this is the solution. Any questions on the letter? No? We go on to 9.2, Mary Surette, General Director of the Yarmouth Hospital Foundation.
Hospital Foundation Board, we can't thank you enough for your continued support of our regional hospital by sponsoring the We Care Radiothon. Even after we went off air, donations for the We Care Radiothon kept arriving. I am so pleased to tell you over $150,000 has been raised, and the 2 incubators, birthing bed, and 5 infant scales have been ordered for the Women and Children's Health Department at Yarmouth Regional Hospital. It's because of tremendous partnerships and community leaders like Municipality of Clare that help to ensure that our hospital has the most updated equipment to provide quality health care for friends, family, and loved ones in the Tri-County area. Thank you for showing how much you care. Sincerely, Mary Surette, Managing Director.
Again, it's for a reminder for the people listening. The contribution of the Municipality of Clare for the Radiothon was $5,000. It's an amount that we include in our operational budget every year. Questions on that letter? No? 9.3, Bobby Como, Regional Coordinator for the Special Olympics in Clare. The Regional Committee of Clare Special Olympics is organizing the 10th annual casino night on April 26th at University Saint-Anne. It is our biggest fundraiser, and we are seeking support from businesses like yours for donations of a product, a gift certificate, or cash. Those who attend will have an opportunity to play games and to bid on various prizes that will be on display. All funds raised will benefit our local athletes directly. These funds help to provide transportation to and from the local and provincial games, purchase needed equipment and uniforms, and pay for practice facilities. Special Olympics provide athletes with the intellectual disabilities the opportunity to participate in sports while promoting individual fitness, health and well-being, camaraderie, and enabling our athletes to lead fuller, more independent lives. Each year, athletes at the Clare chapter of the Special Olympics compete in local and provincial competitions, and some may even have an opportunity to compete at the national level. Our local athletes compete in bowling, bocce, track and field, and swimming. When they win a medal, it's awesome, but even if they don't, they are all enjoy going every year and participating. Thank you for your consideration. Bobby Como, Regional Coordinator for the Clare Special Olympics.
Okay. Any questions or comment on this letter? Are they asking us something that we have contributed to? In the past, there has been specific requests for the organization itself. There's also requests for the evening itself, and I think we treat that in our operational budget. And if you agree, we have funds to do this, and we could buy a prize to win, and also put some certain items that we could ask. There would be, for instance, a gift certificate from some of our restaurants, and offer these on our names, so we'll see if people will try to win these. If you agree with this, I don't think we need a motion for this. I just wanted to mention this for you this evening, so I'm just proposing that we proceed in that manner. 9.4, Eric Titus, Vice President of the Rivasco Development Commission.
In our rejuvenated trail system, new bridges, and toilet building. We want to make you aware that as of last night, April 14th, the BCDC Building Committee carried out a final inspection with the Dirt Works, and all agreed that all has been completed as per our contract with no deficiencies, and therefore call it 100% completed. The BCDC would like to thank the municipality of Clare for the support provided towards this project and greatly appreciate the continued collaboration with us. Thank you. Best regards, Ebert Titus, Vice President, BCDC, Gary Terrio, President, BCDC.
Are there questions or comments on this letter? Councillor DeVoe. It's a question, but it has to do with the boardwalk, the washroom that they built not far from the chapel. I think it's ready. Is it? How come is it locked? It is locked. All our washrooms are locked at this time of the year, and they should be opened on May 1st. That is the date that we open them. All our bathrooms are, we follow the same procedure. We lock them usually in October for the winters, and the one at Chemin Bourneuf and the other one at the Metegan Center, and at the lighthouse in Cap will be opened on May 1st. There are the other questions or comments on this item. I just heard people, hear a lot of positive comments on this boardwalk. Number 10, presentation of the operational budget and corresponding motions. 10.1 motion. I will present the budget first. If for those who listen to us, it's important to note that council is revised the budget, very detailed revised, and tonight we're gonna do we're gonna look at the main amounts of the budget, and once the budget is approved by council, and after it's done by the after tonight's meeting, you can look at it would be available on our website. So the budget is $14,418 and 251 for 14 million. For residential, it's $1.10 for residential and 2.13 for commercial. This has been a bit
increase of 6 cents.
For the residential, this is the first rise, and for commercial, it's the first year that it's gone up for the past 14 years.
If you go to page 2, you will see that last year our net taxable assessment for residential properties was a bit more than $648,000. This year we had an increase of $600,000 from $648,000 last year. For the properties that are classed as resources, we have essentially status quo. We were at 56 million last year, and we are still at 56 million this year. For our commercial property, last year the taxable assessment was 77,616,000. This year we are at 73,393,000. So there was a small reduction in the commercial properties. For the total assessment for the municipality, increased from 782 million last year to 817 million this year. In terms of revenue, that represents a total of 25, 26 of in $9,743,436, which is an increase of about $810,000 compared to last year. It's important to note that our rates for the fire rates, the 6 cents and the 5 cents, have not increased. They are stable. And this year, the 5,000 will bring us 408,000 for the purchase of equipments that the firemen need to offer their services, and the 6 cents will bring us 490,286 for the implementation of our strategy to purchase and replace the fire trucks. In total, we are looking at 898,000 for the year. And finally, on this page, to put you in perspective, an increase of 1 cent to the residential rate and commercial brings to the municipality a little less than $82,000. Any questions on that page? If not, we will proceed to page 3 that talks about revenues for the municipality. The first section is the taxes that I just mentioned. If we look at the subtotal assessable properties, we see that we went from 9,864,852 to 10,713,162. So that is based on the new tax rates. On other taxes, the transfer tax is one that we follow closely. It's a reflection of if the properties in the municipalities are being sold, there is a deed transfer tax that is collected when they are sold. If we look at last year, we budgeted $230,000, but the actual rate that was collected is $361,357. So there was a lot of movement in the real estate. A lot of homes were sold. This year again, we look at a good year, maybe not as good as last year, but we look at a revenue of $300,000 in that account. So if we look at the total in taxes, the assessable business and other taxes, together we are budgeting for $11,272,362, which represents an increase of about $900,000 from last year. For the grants in lieu of taxes, these are for provincial properties or partly provincial that are exempt from municipal taxes, for which we received monies from the province. For example, the University St. Anne's, there is agricultural lands, the federal government agencies, liquor store, etc. Essentially there, we did not see much changes. There, we were at 201,103,000 last year. This year we will be at 202,617,000. So essentially no change there. On page 4, for the revenues, at the top of the page, we are looking at the landfill transfer tipping fees. We budgeted $450,000. It's less compared to last year. Last year we had a good year with 522,152, but there was a lot of activity in that domain last year. We will still see some this year, but we will see some slowing down for our transportation. And something new this year is the expended revenue, which is new this year. It will come in effect on December 1st, 2025. The date is not confirmed yet, but with the discussions that I had, that's what we're looking at. The amount there is $766,665 for the last 4 months of this year. and that's what we based it on. We know that the preliminary figures have changed, and they will certainly increase in our favor, but until we have the actual figures, we budgeted according to the lowest amount. In other revenue from owned services, what we see there every year, I'd like to note the contribution of the province of Nova Scotia to the expansion of the health center, and an increase of $766,665, which is the second year of the contribution over 10 years, which is renewable. If we look at that page, total other revenues from other sources, own sources, we have $1,415,000. We are looking at an increase of $200,000 to $1,900,000 for this year, 909. Any questions on that page? The next page, unconditional transfers from other government services. There are two items here I'd like to note. The Municipal Finance Capacity Grant. It's a grant that we received from the province of $277,375. That amount has been frozen for 5 years because of the service exchange agreement that we negotiated last year with all municipalities of the province. For 25-26, it is the second year of those 5 years. Just below that, the account 12009 for the French language services, 40,000. That's an amount that we receive since a few years from the Acadian Affairs and Francophonie office to help us cover the expenses of offering our services in French here in Clare. So the total unconditional is $513,241 this year, about the same amount as last year, not a big change there. On page 6, we will go to the expenses of the municipality, starting with general government services. We see an increase at the salary level, administration salaries, the Director General, myself, and our assistants, Director of Finance, our finance employees, and the communications officer. We see an increase of, we go from 505,000 last year to 521,000 this year, which is a 2.3 increase, which is the CPI, Consumer Price Index from Statistics Canada, for the whole year. If you look further down on the board, 21242 for the IT support, for the software that we have, we are continuing to invest in that. And the amount this year is $110,000, which is less than what we spent last year. But last year it was $127,719. We are not giving it a less priority, but last year there were specific software purchases last year that we will be able to use this year, so we don't have to renew or purchase new licenses. If we go further down, another item there, 21248, assessment services. It's the corporation that determines that. It's an amount that we contribute to the province. They look at the evaluations of our assessments for the municipality and all the other municipalities. It is a contract we have with them. They are giving us the figure every year. This year there was a small increase of about $9,000 compared to last year, going from $252,000 last year to $261,900 this year. The insurance property liability is always a big expense for us. For this page, you will note that there is a small reduction. It's not that the insurance has not went up, but the assurance for these parts, we removed them from our policy because the premium is more expensive than the value of the property. So there's no sense in insurance for more than what it's worth. So there is a reduction here from 78,264 to 76,090. So for our other infrastructures and departments, the insurance went up, unfortunately. So finally, the 21950 grants to organizations, we budgeted 50,000 this year, which is what we do normally for that item. At this point, I would like to give the warden a note who will give us who the beneficiaries are. I thank you. We had a discussion with council last year. We came up with a list of those people who received it. The Clare Dog Park Society at 9,349. The second would be the Clare Columbus Club for 6,104. The Société Acadienne de Clare for $2,000. The Arts Council for 2,222. Clare Sheriff Community Fridge for $2,500. The Voix del Vent for $1,252. The Minor Soccer Association for $960. The Volleyball Club for $2,000. Inclusion Clare for $5,000. The Historical Society for $700. J.M. Foster for Cat Society for $3,000. Oceanographic Environmental Research for $450. The Bulle Acadienne for $2,000. The Athletic Association for $1,000, and the Weymouth Waterfront Development for $1,532. That brings us to a total of $38,959 for the 25-26 fiscal year. Thank you. So if I go back to the total of the general government services, we have a small reduction in the operational budget for the municipal office, going from $1,842,000 last year to $1,749,315. The last account on this sheet, you will see exemptions and property appeals. It's an amount that we allocate. It's a combination of three different things. Low-income exemptions, we will pass a motion for that this evening. The property appeal, those who are not in agreement with the evaluation of their property, who submit an appeal. And finally, the municipal organizations where the municipality decided to write off their properties. There are groups, especially the non-profit organization who help the community, and the council decided to write off their taxes. So the three together, we budgeted a total of $80,000 for this year. Any questions on that page? On page 7, protective services. I would like to start with the RCMP administration. Here you will see that we are looking at a big jump this year from $1,497,375 to $1,787,117. That's based on the GPRM that I mentioned earlier. It is essentially what we plan to have as an additional expense for the 2 new members in Meteghan. It's important to note that the amount here does not reflect a full year. We know that these people will only be in position later this summer, so that represents 7 months out of 12. The actual amount we did not receive yet from the RCMP for the new fiscal year. We are based on what happened last year, and we applied an increase to that amount. If we look at a period of 12 months, we estimate that these two positions, with all the materials and the infrastructure to support these members, the total cost will be $490,000 for 12 months. So if we come to the increase of 6 cents, it generates about 82,000. From 6 cents, it's $480,000. So the increase is linked directly to these additional costs for the RCMP. It is something that was needed by the public who were concerned. So the costs are determined by a national contract. It's not by the municipality. The total cost of the RCMP, the federal government covers 30%, so the provinces are responsible for the other 70%. So in Nova Scotia, of that 70%, 2/3 is sent to the municipalities and 1/3 is covered by the province. So the 2/3 that we pay ourselves, that is the $480,000 that we are looking at for the next 12 months. That is mostly the main reason why we are proposing the increase that we are proposing, because the costs are continuing to increase in the future. So that being said, for protective services, it is something that we continue to invest in, and as well as the fire services at the rate of 5 cents and 11 cents have not changed, and that will allow us to go get a little less than $900,000. So we also have a finance to the departments for their operational costs, the gas, buildings, and the fire hall expenses. So the cost for the expenses last year was $1,105,652. We are looking at an increase with the equipment that went up. We are looking at a contribution of $1,251,561. You will also see higher on the page, I should have noted earlier, the amount for animal control. We are looking at increase there also. The reason for that is because we know that the contract with Nova Scotia SPCA will end shortly, and we will have to find another formula to offer these services. So we decided to increase the amount until we know exactly the model that we adopt and what the cost will be associated to that. So for the inspection services, we are looking at an increase of 68,000. That is a third building inspector that we have, as well as all the costs and training necessary to support that position. So in all, the total protective services for 2025-26 will increase to $3,502,841, an increase of a little less than $600,000 compared to last year, where we budgeted $2,927,000. Any questions on that page?
On page 6, transportation services. Essentially, we invested $120,097 last year, and the investment this year will be $129,251, a bit $1,000 difference. I would just like to point out that the municipality will continue to fund the Transport de Clare as it has done in previous years, because so this is a good value for the money we we contribute there. On the page 9, we have sewer general operations. We see a big higher of salaries, about $5,000. This is a combination of CPI index that went up. So this is for all positions inside the municipality. A bit lower the 24260 public works shared operations. We have an increase there. The big difference there was regarding insurances. The insurance for the tree plants has gone up, and a bit lower snow removal. There's also an increase of $12,200. This essentially was for all our equipment, buildings, and put snow for snow removal of next year. If we look a bit lower, supplies and repairs for mitigants and Bidevosco. On paper, it looks like a big reduction, but the reason for this is last year there was quite a few items that we chose that we opted to go through the operational budget. Something that in the past we could have passed in a capital budget. So last year we were able to pass it on the operational budgets. So the amount that you see here is reflect amount that's more realistic of what we're doing with the repairs every year. For the sewage operations for the this year we see 360,353, which is a reduction of 428,000 for the reasons that I have just mentioned, because we passed from one budget, from operational budget to. Are there any questions on this page? On page 10, garbage collection tipping fees. This is our transfer station. The operations at the transfer station, the real amount 244. We have augmented the budget from 12,000 to 14,000 this year. This is a lot used by our organizations in the community. It's a win-win because it helps to pay the cost, and it also helps us to clean the municipality. And as far as I know, the 14,000 is I think there are still people who are waiting to see if they can get in the list for cleaning, the cleanup program at the transfer station operation. 24300. If you see a reduction, because of our sewer plants, we had 148,164 last year. There were items there that were one-off, and this year we will have 110,000. These are our operational costs that we have every year for the transfer station. Our tipping fees in Queens, we were advised that the cost will go up from 2.37%. For the 490,000 will reflect this increase. And the garbage and waste collectors, people who pick up our garbage on the side of the road, we have a motion that we're going to pass later this week to amend the contract for the next coming year to incorporate the 5% of increase, because the what is being, there is also a $41,000. This is to reflect new routes that we will add, because we have had certain requests by the municipalities for different areas. For this is 615,904, a bit below that. Waste check administration, the municipality is part of waste check with other municipalities, from Digby to Yarmouth, and our cost to be part of this group have gone up this year. Last year we had budgeted 23,937. And this, according to the budget of waste collected this year, is 31,333. But we do have a very good service with them. If you look at the town total for garbage collection and tipping fees, we go from 1,697,000 to 1,781,392. Are there any questions on this page? On the next page 11, we have our public health services, health center. The categories here we have adjusted because of the cost of living index. We have it's gone up quite a bit. We had new staff in last year. We had to replace certain staff members, so it went from 621,000 to 743,710. Exactly, with the expansion we have hired more doctors, so that's why to see there is an increase to 743,710 bit. IT support, here too there was an investment of the municipality, 45,000 this year. It's a bit lower than last year. Last year it was 66,408. This being said, there was also other things that have been bought last year that went to the operational budget. Maintenance and repairs, here too we're lower than last year, which was 45,000 this year. There was a few runoff last year that we hope that we can think that with 45,000 we'll be okay to address all our maintenance and repairs. So we should be okay with this 45,000 budget. Our total for property would be 1,286,155 for the health center operations. Bit lower down, the new recruitment doctor, we always put 5,000 every year, and we're gonna do it again this year. And we have had a lot of success with this and with this program, and it's not something we want to stop because it's really profitable for us. And finally, below the low-income seniors housing, the housing commercials operating last year we had budgeted 74,599, and this year we are not budgeting anything because the service exchange is being negotiated between the municipalities and the province. Part of these negotiations we have concluded that the housing operated budget should be run by the province, so from now on it will be the responsibility of the municipalities. For in our case this year we have 75 we will save 75,000 amount, and this should stay negative for the years to come. Finally, if you look in the blue, if you look at I don't have a blue square, but the net servicing charge from the expansion of this medical center, the financing for that was 7 million, so the province is giving 766,000 to the province. It's for the operational cost. This being said, even after we applied this 760,000, there are still interest charges for the municipality this year, which will be about 220,000 for the municipality.
So as we go from year to year, this interest rate that we pay will go down. And this year, because it's the first year, we are looking at 220,000 in interest. Any questions on that page? On page 12, it's we talk about the municipal planning, the bylaws and all that. So what I would like to note on this page is the account 25291. Accessibility. We invested 10,000 last year with the introduction of EDA by the province. There is a responsibility on the municipalities to ensure an equity that everything is equitable and accommodate diversity. So it's to develop a plan with concrete action that we will include in the next year. So we will talk about this plan further tonight, but one of the things that we are looking at for the 48,000 that we are budgeting above the activities that we are doing in our programs, it's the increase of the sharing of a resource person with the University St. Anne to help us with the development and the implementation of this plan, because it's too big a task and it's too important to have on the corner of a desk of an employee. So this will allow us to have the necessary resources to put the focus on what this subject deserves. So we are looking at 48,000 for this year from 10,000 last year. Any questions on that page? The next page, the community development services. Here we are looking at tourism, recreation, community development, etc. So if we are looking at tourism, there is an increase in the budget from $364,320 for $419,277. The main reason is a new program or new project, the Clare Acadian Initiative. It is to build on the success of the Acadian Congress 2024 to modernize our programs and our tourism products and our partners, etc. So the contribution for that project, the expenses are $162,500, and with an experienced coordinator, a part of their salary for that individual is included in the $162,890. So just to note, this is a partnership between the federal, provincial agencies and the municipality. So for the recreation, we saw an increase of $350,000 from last year. 315 last year to 359.41 this year. Part of that increase is the salaries, but also our summer students. We have included another summer student this year from 4 to 5 with an increase in investments in our recreation program. So we are looking at a program of $65,850 this year, and an increase in the community investment program to $15,000 compared to $10,000 last year. So if you are looking lower on that page, the community development, that is our director, and the Pam and Rayan. This year it is a bit different this year because we are including the salary of our 2 groundskeepers and a market manager for the farmers market in Meteghan. So these figures went up a bit, difference of about $30,000 in terms of total expenses for the community development. So if we look at the total community development services for the year, we budgeted $1,267,582 compared to $1,024,950 last year. Any questions on that page? On page 14, we are looking at building facilities. These are the properties across the municipality that belong to us or that we support. Just to mention a few, the Western Counters Regional Library in Metegan, the Cape St. Mary Lighthouse Park, Rendezvous de la Baie, the Mardi du Gras Park in Bellyville Cove, Wentworth Park, Cultural Hub, Havelock Community Center, Metegan Park and Ground Search and Rescue Building, and several others. In total, on paper, it looks like a decrease in terms of financing of from 282,776 last year to 212,732 this year. Again, the reason for that, it's not that we are not giving it less. We're giving it less importance. It's because these are transfers from the operational budget to the capital budget. So it's just a lower amount. In cultural services, again, it's the organizations throughout the municipality that we support. We are noting the Historical Society, the contribution to the Acadian Festival. Normally, we give them $20,000 per year. We decided to give them $30,000 this year because they are celebrating their 65th anniversary this year. So it reflects a bigger program this year to celebrate that anniversary. Last year, with talking with the director of the festival, he knows that it will go back down the next year. So it's just for this year. The Rails to Trails, $5,000 there that we are giving every year. The Belvico's Development Commission, we saw the advertising this year for their walking trail. So this is helping in the maintenance of the trail. Lower, you will see a contribution of $50,000 to University Sainte Anne. That's to support projects and activities on the campus at the university, and these infrastructures serve not only the students but also the people from the municipality. $50,000 last year was used for improvements in the arena that is used by the community. So also, like the letter from Marie Surette, the $5,000 to the Yarmouth Hospital Foundation. We give them a contribution every year, but the hospital serves not only Yarmouth but also the municipality of Clare. So the community development, we went from $1,447,226 to $1,634,814. And finally, the last page, the contribution for education to the Minister of Education. These are mandated by the province. It's based on our evaluation. So the rate is 0.3048%. The rate is the same as last year, but because our evaluations went up, the contribution went up also. So the amount for this year is $2,494,764. It is one of our biggest, if not the biggest, expense in all our budget items. The last thing on that page is simply an inventory of the loans that we have as a municipality. There are 5 altogether. These are the payments that we pay in principal. The first is for the medical center, a 20-year mortgage of 20 years. We have 3 years to pay on that. And the new loan for the expansion of the medical center that I mentioned earlier, $700,000 per year. This is the first year of 10 years. And two loans for the fire halls. We are in $53,000 for fire departments, and the last is the fire hall in St. Bernard, $28,851 for a total of $907,184. So that is the budget that we are proposing this evening for your consideration. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, there is a series of motions related to the budget that we would need to pass this evening to make them official. Thank you. It's a big municipal job. It's your biggest work of the year, probably, but it's nice to see that you could fit everything in and everybody is well treated. Any questions or comments on the budget? If not, we are going to 10.1. Motion to adopt the municipal tax rates. Does anybody wish to make this motion? Councillor DeVoe? Thank you, Mr. Warden. I move that the municipal tax rates for the municipality of the District of Clare for 2025-26 be set as follows. $1.10 per $100 of assessment for the tax rate in resources and residential, and $2.13 per $100 of assessment for the commercial tax rate, and 25 cents per acre below less than 50,000 acres, and 40 cents per acre above 50,000 acres for the forest acreage rates. Moved by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Comeau. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. We'll go on to what? A motion to adopt the sewer service charges. Anybody wish to make that motion? Deputy Warden Pache. I move that the municipal sewer service charges for the 25-26 year be set at $220 per unit for the following: Meteghan Center, Meteghan River, Church Point, and Belleville Cove. Moved by Deputy Warden Pache, seconded by Councillor Hill. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried.
10.3, motion to adopt streetlight area rates. Somebody wants to do this motion? Councillor Hill.
That the 2025-2026 streetlight area rates be set as follows. Highway 1 and Patrice Road, Church Point, $63.35. Highway 1, Littlebrook and Comeauville, $38.91. Highway 1, Soniaville, $56.66. Highway 1, Meteghan River, $59.83. Placide Comeau Road to Meteghan River, $75.55. Highway 1 and Peter Dugall Road, Meteghan, $38.81. Highway 1, St. Bernard and Bellows Cove, $39.38. Highway 1, Meteghan, 8064 Highway 1 to 7974 Highway 1, $47.08.
Proposé par Conseil Hill, appuyé par
Proposed by Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor Evans. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. 10.4, motion to adopt the fire service rate. Councillor Comeau. I move that the 2025-2026 fire department rates be set as follows: fire protection, 5 cents per $100 of assessment, and fire truck purchase 6 per $100 of assessment. 6 cents. Proposed by Councillor Como and seconded by Councillor DeVoe. All those in favor? Again. Motion carried. Number 5, motion to adopt property tax rebate for low-income households. Councillor Evans. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare set the 2025-2026 low-income property tax rebate amount at $300 for households earning less than $29,000 per year. Proposed by Councillor Evans, seconded by Councillor Hill. All those in favor? Motion carried. 10.6, motion to adopt the due date and interest commencement date. Somebody want to do this? Councillor Como. I move that the due date for payment of 2025-2026 municipal taxes be June 30th, 2025, and the interest rate be 1.5% per month beginning on July 31st, 2025. Proposed by Councillor Como, seconded by Deputy Warden Poitier. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. 10.7, motion to accept the 2025-2026 municipal operational budget. Councillor Evans. I move that the 2025-2026 operational budget for the municipality of the District of Clare be approved as presented on Wednesday, April 16, 2025. Proposed by Councillor Evans and seconded by Deputy Warden Poitier. All those in favor? Motion carried. This finishes the budget for 2025-2026. I would like to congratulate our new financial officer there and everybody who worked in the Department of the Finance for all their work done on this budget. It's a very big amount of work involved, and I'd like to congratulate them. Thank you. We will now go to number 10, Chief Administrator's CEO report. I'm talking a lot this evening for the report. I'll give you some of our the health center, the new build offices for the offices. There's still some work to be done upstairs. All the window dressings have been installed. The bilingual signs have been ordered and should be installed as soon as they come in. And there's still a few things, paintings to be done. And there's also a new procedure hall room that remains to be done, and it will be completed when the lower level will be finished. It's not too much work done with that. On the basement level, the new offices are now finished. Everything has been finished. The offices and the corridors, the flooring is in place. The staff and the contractors have started to work on the community room and the change room. As of last year, the project should be complete before the end of May. It remains to be seen, but we hope this is the case. But there's always unforeseen things happening. Again, on the medical center on April 9th, the municipality had essentially put 100% of all the residents of Clare who had registered as a patient list. There were 71 persons that were left on this list. Some of these were rostered to doctors at the medical center, and the other 28 were contacted, and they are waiting to be contacted to be given a doctor. This being said, It's a very good situation. We still have the capacity to take other new patients at the center, and the next list will come out next week. We have one that will come out every month. It is kind of fluid. It can change from 1 month to the other depending on how many people are on the list. And if it's nobody who register, this being said, we are very lucky to have all the service that we have at our medical center. For the Veteran Center, the project is going ahead very well. If you allow me, I will need certain notes in English because of the meeting.
South wall, currently working on the west side to north end, c'est le devant de l'édifice. Mechanical penetrations are flash, ça c'est dans la couverture. Roofers are on site installing underlay and strapping. Building is now watertight. Electricians are on site running CCTV rough-ins. Drywallers are on site to install rafter baffles. Demandez-moi pas c'est quoi un rafter baffle, but je prends pour acquis que c'est une bonne chose. There you go, parfait. C'est une bonne chose. Floor polish to start. The floor polish will start this week. Lang Secure is to arrive on site this week to pull wires for security cameras. Interior vapor barrier to start shortly. Project remains on schedule, comme j'ai mentionné.
Mentioned.
For council will be scheduled once interior of the building is a bit further along.
The project is going ahead very well, and we have when the building was blown down, we have caught up with our schedule since then. For what is the project that we Sunset Road, for the extension of the sewer system in Metegan, which is not Sunset Road. We don't have much about this project. We're still waiting for the arrival permit from the province. This being said, we have a meeting with the XP Engineering tomorrow to see that as a municipality we'll be ready to proceed as soon as that permit comes in. We must have this permit to be able to put the manhole, and we have to know the precise location of this one. So we hope this permit will come in very soon for the new sidewalks in Metegan. They are putting something in place. There were a few deficiencies. There was landscaping that were left to be done at the end of the fall. It's also the asphalt to the new villa. There, one of the drainage sites needs to be tweaked. So these are not very big, but this will be done in May. It's not a huge amount of work, but the paving might be done a little bit later because Aberdeen are just starting to pave in the month of June. And also the hydro seeding, also for reclamations for the federal government and the province. We are working on that. The land use bylaw and the municipal planning strategy. The council had met Stantec on April 9th last week to revise the draft that was presented to us for the municipal planning strategy. From there, we will working with the communication, working to schedule an open door session to go through these documents with the members of the public for comments and to answer their questions. We don't have a specific date yet, but we should get that soon.
These same documents will be sent to the province so that it can make a preliminary scan to ensure that everything is good and we are on the right path. And for the next steps in April to May, we will have an open house and send the documents. In May, we want to make the public hearing, and in June, a second reading and essentially complete the project in June if everything goes good. For our new washrooms at the Joseph and Marie Dugas Park, we will discuss it tonight to grant the contract for the amount of $136,000 plus HST. The motion will be presented to council shortly. And to continue the construction of these new bathrooms, we want to start May 5th and conclude in 21st of July. And there will be temporary installations on site for the people who use the park and for the farmers market. Because we are talking about washrooms that are completely accessible, so a request was sent to the province to help us with the construction costs. So we are waiting for an answer from the province. For the initiative 25-27, not much new there, except that we proceeded with the hiring Caitlin Hill, coordinator, who was offered the position and she accepted it. We are excited to have her on our team, and she will start with us on April 28th, 2025, in about a week and a half. For the active transportation plan, there is nothing new there. We are still waiting a reply from the province for our request for finances to be able to include the province as a partner on that plan in order to help us to cover the costs for the elaboration of the plan. Fire service review. The document has been revised to incorporate the comments of the councillors as well as my comments. They were incorporated in the document and distributed again to council. At this time, we will try to see if there are still some questions to ask to the consultants and maybe have a virtual meeting with them before we hope that the plan will be formally adopted by council. And the intention will be to share it with the fire chiefs in each of our 7 fire halls departments as well as the executive. And finally, in terms of our financing, as of March 31st, 2025, the municipality recorded $13,308,486 in revenues versus $12,440,660 in expenses, for an operational surplus of $867,826. There are still a few bills coming in at the end of the year, so that amount will change a bit between now and the next few weeks. But all that to say that we have finished the year in a good financial position. As of March 31st, again, the municipality had a balance of $2,748,116 in its operating fund, $646,290 in its capital fund, and a total in reserve of $3,955,377. This last figure can be broken down as follows: the operating reserve, $2,568,636, capital reserve, $99,402, landfill closure reserve, $376,397, the community building fund, former gas tax, $388,974. We had our last amount for last year, and the sustainable growth fund reserve, $520,968. So we have good reserves in place. So that is my report. If you have any questions, thank you for the report. Any questions or comments on this? Good job. Item 12.1, waste check. Councillor DeVoe. Thank you, Mr. Warden. We had a meeting on April the 8th. Just to clarify, Mr. Sear in his budget report, mentioned that the district from Deputy Yarmouth also includes Argyle. It was close. It's District 7 that includes Argyle. Just want to clarify that. We talked again of EPR. We judged that it good to contact the province of BC who have EPR since a long time. It's nothing new for them. We just wanted to make sure that we were going in the right direction. A bit of advice that they gave us is to make sure that as it works in the province, make sure that's what we want, because once it is signed, it will be difficult to change things. So just make sure that it's what will work well, and I think we are going in the right direction. I don't think we will have problems there. Our green cards, again, we need to order some green cards. It's nothing new. We decided again that the green cards are all ordered from the States. We decided, because of the problems that are happening now, we will go with a company in Quebec. It is the only company in Canada that do green cards. IPL is called. I think when we go to our conferences, they're always there, but we will try to order our green cards from Quebec. They are a bit more expensive, but I think it will come back to balance at the end. I don't know if you saw on Facebook or elsewhere, there is a small company established in Smiths Cove outside of Digby called the Bin Boss. They clean green cards. They have a machine that they put the green cards inside and it cleans them. It does a good job. If somebody want more information on that, they can contact Waste Check in Yarmouth and they can give you costs. I don't have the prices or anything, but we can make plans with them. We are happy to have them because it could make the green cards last longer. The next meeting will be held on May 13th at 10 o'clock. That's all. Thank you. Thank you for the report. So, Bin Boss, do they serve all the district of Waste Check? Yes. They even go to the South Shore. They will not go just to clean, but they take orders. And when the people know that it's there, the work that they do, they will become busy because it cleans them good. They're just like new, all the inside and the outside and everything. Everything that cuts on the maggots in the summer helps. Thank you. Any questions on Councillor DeVoe's report? No? That brings us to item 13, new business. 13.1, motion to grant a tender for the washroom building at the Joseph and Marie Digo Park. As I mentioned earlier in my report, we came out with a tender call to construct new washrooms at the park. We are looking at a building with 3 toilets completely accessible and storeroom in the back for small equipments. The tender was closed on March 27th, which was a Thursday. We received a total of 6 tenders. 5 of the 6 are companies with which we have worked in the past on other projects, so they are all known by the municipality. So the 6th is a company from Halifax that we never had anything to do with in the past, but because these are companies that we knew very well, and they are reputable, we went with the lowest tender, which was Mid-Valley Construction, for a total of $136,762 plus HST. Mid-Valley plans to start on May the 5th, and they should finish by the 21st of June. So it's not a big job, especially for a company of Mid-Valley. So that being said, it's my recommendation, as well as the recommendation of our Public Works Director, that we accept the Mid-Valley tender at the Joseph Indigo Marty Park at the amount of $136,762 plus HST. So, and that these amounts be taken from our capital reserve.
Questions or comments on this motion? No, somebody who wants to do this motion, Councillor Evans. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare award the tender for the new washroom building at the Joseph and Marie Dugas Park at Bellevosco to Mid-Valley Construction to the amount of $136,762 plus HST, and that these funds be taken from the municipality's capital reserve. Proposed by Councillor Evans, seconded by Councillor Hill. All those in favor? Motion carried. 2.3, motion to generator shed Bellevos for the wastewater treatment plant in Bellevos Cove. Thank you. Our wastewater treatment plant in Bellevos Cove, when there is no, there's an electricity, we have to, when there's a power outage, we have to use the Metegan generator and bring it back to Metegan after the outage is finished. We always always operated that way, but it creates a certain malaise to what should we do, and it's quite our staff is not gives them, with the expansion of the medical center, the generator that we had there to operate the medical center is not sufficiently big to treat the whole building, so we bought a new generator that can cover the whole center. So the ones that we had before, we were wondering what we can do with it, so it was not sufficient for the veteran center either, so we couldn't place it there. So we don't have a need to place it here at the municipal building. So speaking with the staff in the public works sector, and they recommended that we place it in Bellevos Cove, and as I said, it will eliminate the problems we had before of transporting the other one. So this cannot be put outside, so we need to have a small building to put it in. There's a slab that's needed so that it can go in and come out. This being said, we brought out a tender. We had 3 submissions. The tender, we decided to accept to give this award to Garian Construction to the amount of $61,570 plus HST, and that these funds be taken to the capital reserve. They propose to start at the 1st of May, and it will be finished at the end of June. Questions or comment on this? Is there somebody ready to do the motion? Councillor DeVoe. Thank you. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare award the tender for the generator building at the Bellevosco wastewater treatment plant to Garian Construction Limited to the amount of $61,570 plus HST, and that these funds be taken from the municipality's capital reserve. Proposed by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Hill. All those in favor? Motion carried. There's going to be a motion to modify the garbage collection contract for the year 2021-2026. I have spoken about this in the operational budget, but essentially we are obliged to modify the agreement to include the 5% increase for this year for this contract that starts us from October 1st. We're talking about the October 1st until the end of 2026. This agreement will start furthermore than the 5%. We also modify the present agreement that will modify how we will service certain parts of the community that are not receiving this service. This is based on certain calls that we have received, and I'm certain some of you have received such phone calls. So after a discussion here with we say, is it plausible that the trucks can go to these addresses on the roads described? So we are proposing to go ahead in the next year, and we'll have to have a bit of communication regarding the public, to talk to them about the areas that have been modified, especially those that have been affected by these changes. So we're not quite ready to do this now, and we haven't finalized the road, neither there will be not great changes to the service that is available presently, but we will add a few roads. But this being said, allowing us to do this, it will take us some time, and I need the approval of council to do this. So based on our contractor, we're talking to an amount of 615,904. Are there questions or comments on this motion? If is there somebody who can do? Thank you, Ms. I move that the council for the municipality of the district of Clare amend the 2021-2026 garbage collection contract to include the standard 5% increase for the upcoming year, as well as the incremental cost for the proposed additions to the current routes, increasing the total amount for 2025-2026 to 615,904. Proposed by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Kamo. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried.
10.4, motion to approve a road naming, the Grass Lake Lane. We were approached to name a road in St. Martin off Bonnie Road. There are 8 properties that would be affected by this new name. These are properties along this road. We sent letters to the owners of these 8 properties, and we received 7 replies, and the 7 are in favor of the proposed name. The 8 we did not get a reply. It's not yes or no. They didn't answer. So 7 out of 8 are in favor. The name is bilingual in this case. It is something that respects our municipal policy in not naming the road. So it's our recommendation that we go forward and approve the request as presented. In French, the Ruelle Lac d'Herbe, and in English, Grass Lake Lane. Questions or comments on this? If not, does anybody wish to make the motion? Conseiller Como? I move that the council for the municipality of the district of Clare approve the road naming request for the road shared by the PIDs listed below as follows. In English, Grass Lake Lane. En français, Ruelle Lac d'Herbe. Moved by Conseiller Camon, seconded by Deputy Warden Potier. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried without the PID numbers. Brings us to 13.5, motion to revise committee appointments. Yes, at our regular committee and council meeting, Councillor Camo had asked to possibly change a committee from a member of Waste Check because of the schedule of the meetings, which are on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock in the morning. There was a conflict with her work on her daily job. So she asked if there was a counselor around the table who would be willing to switch committees. And I understand Deputy Warden Potier would be happy to change with Conseiller Camon. And if I'm mistaken, let me know, but that Conseiller Camon leaves Waste Check and that she returned to the Accessibility Committee, and the Deputy Warden Potier be our second member on Waste Check. Questions or comments on this? Does anybody wish to make the motion? Councillor Hill?
I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare approve the revised committee appointments as presented.
Moved by Councillor Hill, seconded by Conseiller Evans. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. We just need to advise the council or the committees that there are changes. 13.6, motion to send a letter to Nova Scotia Public Works regarding the intersection of East Tashkoma Road and Highway 1. A few weeks ago, there was an accident at the corner of East Tashkoma Road and Highway 1 in Sonyville. It's not the first. Unfortunately, there were a few in the past. Following that accident, we had an email from Shane Robichaud asking us to contact the province to essentially make an evaluation on that intersection and to see at the possibility of having a stop sign on East Tashkoma Road with flashing lights. And even more than that, have a yellow light on Highway 1. So the council, we were in agreement to send a motion to send a letter, and it's the motion that I am proposing this evening to you. We discussed also, since there were some requests on the Provincial Department of Public Works to evaluate other areas in Clare, we would like to include the intersection of East Tashkoma Road as part of the other interventions. And our communications officers suggested that if they are in agreement to do that evaluation, that they do it while the Le Petit Robichaud and La Cuisine Robichaud are open, because it's when those two restaurants are open that we see a lot of traffic in that corner. And there might be also other food trucks there. So there would be more restaurants there, and a new school that will be opening, and the possibility of still more traffic. So it is important to ensure that any evaluation that we do take these points into consideration. So to start the process to ensure that we proceed with a letter to have a discussion with the province, it would be good to have a motion from council to go forward. Questions or comments on this? Does anybody wish to make the motion? Deputy Warden Potier? I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare send a letter to the Nova Scotia Department of Public Works requesting a safety review of the intersection of Highway 1 and East Tashkoma Road, including the possibility of installing a flashing stop sign at the end of Istashkoma Road and a flashing yellow light on Highway 1. Moved by Deputy Warden Pache, seconded by Conseiller Como. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. 13.7, a motion to adopt the DIA plan, to adopt EDIA rooted in respect. As mentioned in the budget discussion, all the municipalities are mandated by the province to have an EDIA plan. It's a provincial mandate, but it is a good thing to do. And as General Director, I want to support the this project. It's a lot of work to put together, and the timeline from the province to submit the plan is still ambitious, but we need to submit the plan in April to meet the requirements of the province. So you have in front of you the plan that we plan to propose to submit, and the other principles of the plan is our communications officer, Jessica Martin, Recreation. There was some collaboration with a resource person in St. Anne's. Our director of community development was involved. There was a survey made with the community organizations who work in that domain, and we started formal presentations to go forward with everything that has to do with EDIA. So for us, it is a beginning. The plan will be revised during the year, and next year we will marry this plan with our accessibility plan. The activities that are mentioned in the plan, the majority have already been discussed with the Accessibility Committee. So I am familiar with this. It is part of our programming. It is something that we plan to do in this year. And for me, it's a good plan. It's a very good beginning. And we have concrete activities that can be done in the short term. And as I said earlier, it's a start for the municipality. So that being said, normally I would like to have a plan that was more advanced, but it was impossible for us to do it. It was a big job, and we must submit it to the province. So if you agree with the content of the plan, and I want to invite you to make a motion this evening to adopt it formally and submit it to the province. Questions or comments on the motion, on the plan? If not, does anybody wish to make a motion? Thank you. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare accept the EDIA plan rooted in respect, a plan for inclusive future. Moved by Conseiller Evans, seconded by Councillor DeVoe. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. So that concludes item 13. We have one item in camera, contract negotiations. So that being said, the date and the time of our next meeting is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. We need a motion to go in camera, moved by Conseiller Como, seconded by Conseiller Evans. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried, and good evening, everyone.
Bon, monsieur, on va travailler une minute plus fort.
Ouais.
Une minute plus fort que d'habitude.